Hi Owen, Cassam from HeyUGuys, lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I was actually quite surprised by how good this film was, and don't take that the wrong way. I mean that in the best possible way. It was actually really enjoyable to watch. What was it that appealed to you about the story?
Well, I was a big fan of the book, and I think the biggest challenge for me was getting the right story from the book to turn it into the right path through the book to make it a good film. I just think it's a very the tone. John Niven's got a very authentic tone of voice, especially when talking about something that he's clearly very knowledgeable about. And I think what drew me to the book and the film, and then turning that into the film, was the idea of making a film about British music. Especially at this moment in time, that was sort of cool Britannia and very iconic moment in British music, and turning that, using John's authentic voice to give us a very sort of original sounding film. I mean, very dark and very but
very dark. And I was going to say, you're focusing on a character. He's not even an anti-hero. He is outright a bad guy.
He's nasty.
Yeah. How's it like building a film around someone who is so bad?
Well, it was. I mean, I guess in the funniest of ways, the other thing that drew me to make the film, it was a real. I knew it was going to be a challenge. It's a bit of a sort of a tonal tightrope walk, and it was part of the struggle of it being made. A lot of people said, hey, you can't make a film about someone that unpleasant. And funny enough, very much getting Nick Hoult involved was a big help for me. He suddenly helped me find that balance in terms of wanting to go on this journey with a character that is that unpleasant. But also it's a satire, so you are. I didn't make this film to champion these sorts of characters. I made this film to actually shine the light on these sorts of characters, whether that's in the music industry or whatever. But in the music industry, it's particularly polarised. I think that you have people that are so fiercely ambitious and just driven by one thing, versus people that are just talented and want to make music. In most industries, it's never that polarised. The sort of the division between the two desires in a way.
Even more than the film industry, would you say?
Much more than the film industry, I'd say. I think there are lots of ambitious people in the film industry. I'm sure there are lots of psychopaths too. But but it is that sort of clash of raw sort of music comes from somewhere that's very, very raw, and versus the people that are actually going to end up doing something with that, and how instantly disposable I think it is. Whereas film, purely because of the amount of people it takes to make a film and the amount of time it takes to make a film, the investment in that is quite different on a very personal level, I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
And do you think there are many characters like Nicholas Hoult's character in this movie still in the music industry?
They probably now wear sort of thick neck jumpers and probably behave in quite a different way. But I'm sure there are. I mean, I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are. I do think the music industry changed, but I think it only because it had. I mean, largely because it had to. I think, and certainly the characters that I now know well in the music industry are certainly not Stephen Stelfox's. But who knows? I mean, you've got X Factor and all those. I think it's still equally disposable. It probably more so now than certainly at times of Britpop, where you had bands and people writing songs and singing songs. I wonder whether it's almost worse, but just hidden better now. I don't know.
Excellent. And finally, can I just ask you about what Nicholas Hoult brings to this film? Because it's not a role that you typically expect him to star in.
No, I think that he's just very, very. He's incredibly watchable, Nick, and I've realised that very quickly early on in making the film. I also think that he has a sort of a mischief naturally about him. He enjoys the mischief of it all, and I think that I would have struggled to have pulled off you wanting to go on this journey. I don't think there are many actors of his age that could do that. So no, it was a voyage for him, and hopefully an enjoyable one. I don't know, but it was he had to step into that role and step up, and he did, and it was great fun to work with him.
Excellent, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey!